All right, guys, Fuller coming to you with another video. Hope y'all are doing well. You know, I said I wasn't gonna really. I was gonna be very strategic in how I talk about, the whole carbonation situation and just the whole conscious black community in general. Back in the past, I used to put the energy into just going being on their neck. And I'm still gonna put the energy on being on their neck, but I'm just gonna do it in a like more, I guess you can say, a more strategic way. Because I mean, the thing is, what I understand is I just didn't want to congest my channel with the same things, with the same narrative over and over again. Because the whole thing is they're perpetuating the same narrative over and over again. Literally, when you watch these people, be it carbonation, be it this one clown old dude named Gagoots or something like that, or if you watch Velvet, they're just doing the same things over and over again. They're just running in a circle, basically. And again, it's blind leading the blind. That's how it works. But what I really want to talk about in this video is how, and some people are gonna call me misogynist. People are gonna call me like a sexist. People are gonna say I'm a woman hater. People are gonna say I'm like a black woman hater. They're all gonna say that, you know. But at the end of the day, I really don't care what they think, you know, because if I did care what they think, I wouldn't talk in general about it, because um, I'm not going to make this group of women famous. I refuse to make them famous. I refuse to name them by name. I'm not going to do it, but a group of women took it upon themselves to get at me because of my opinions on the woman they support, no matter what. And it is what it is. I mean, if they feel some sort of way, they could have just addressed me and didn't, instead of going behind my back and saying it, but that just shows you what type of women they are, and I'm just going to point this out about them is that, they all have something in common. They're all old and they're all single, okay, for the most part. And me, I'm not even in my prime yet. So what does that tell you about me? But anyhow, what I want to talk about is what I really want to speak about is basically that, you know, when you look at these women, when you look at the women in carbonation, when you look at Velvet, when you look at the women who are with this other character, Gagoots or whatever his name is, I don't even know what his name is. When you look at all these women, they all have one thing in common about all of them. Okay. The one thing they have in common is that they attract sorry old Negroes, right? And they also attract beta and simple Negroes, right? And the reason why they attract them is because of the simple fact that no 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 man who values himself and who regards himself as a man who wants to do better in his life, who wants to enhance his life, who wants to progress in his life, who wants to have a stable family life, is going to like attract them. The thing is about it is that this is actually what they want. I mean, I mean, they are broken women. Let's say that they are broken women, but they're broken women who are not willing to face themselves and actually do the work to fix it. Instead, they just cycle more and more into what they're doing. Because believe it or not, to have something, to to get something worth having, is is way more uncomfortable than being content with something that you already have. What do they already have? Just situations where they're basically, how should I put it? I don't know what's the best word to describe their situation in which they're in terms of lifestyle that they're living and what have you, because of the simple fact that it's something that I would never ever entertain. You know, they like what they do over there, that doesn't exist in my reality. You know, and it would never exist in my reality. That's the whole thing. But I guess I can say that what they're doing, it presents a problem with Western women as a whole. You know, they're just the example of the problem with Western women, period. Because of the simple fact that, you know, all of them, all of the men over there are sorry Negroes. Like, all of the men over there are deadbeat dads. All of the men over there left their kids behind. All of their men over there have not manned up and taken like responsibility for the kids they produced. You know, but the women are okay with that. They're content with being with these type of individuals, you know? And it's crazy to say it that, you know, this is kind of like this is kind of the psyche of the Western women in general. You can have, for example, a Western man who's taking care of business, who makes an honest living, right? But that's still not good enough for a Western woman. As a matter of fact, what that Western woman is going to do is going to go to the toxic dude who's not really bringing anything to the table, but I guess, you know, good sex trumps everything else, because that's really what it comes down to. All of these women over there are just looking to ride a cop carousel. They're not looking for anything else but that. They've been conditioned that that's what they think is the right thing, you know, but they allowed themselves to be conditioned in that way. Recently, you know, I saw a video, and there was, I didn't watch the whole video, but the new guy who is in Velvet's life right now, the kid called him, I think, dad. I believe so. I don't remember. The thing is that with that is that that's exactly what she was looking for. She was looking for someone to like basically take the load in which she helped she helped in producing. And that's gonna be the case with a lot of these carbonation women and women who were formerly in carbonation. So you'll have like women like Tori who are probably gonna be looking for like a simp or a beta to carry the load in which she produced while she was in a cult. And the same cycle will keep on repeating itself. And the thing is, and I'm gonna tell the men out there, you're not responsible for doing that. You didn't help produce that kid. It's not your responsibility to come in and play as Captain Save a Chick. It's not your responsibility. It's a matter of fact, you shouldn't do that. Don't don't do that. Don't take it upon yourself to do something like that. Now, back in the day, it was actually quite normal for, you know, families to blend together. Like maybe, for example, you'll have one kid from one from a previous marriage, and then you'll have another kid from a previous marriage from, for example, one kid from the father's side, one kid from the mother's side, but they just blended the families together. That usually happened a lot of the times back in the day. But also, back in the day, you had um, men who would sometimes take on a father role to a previous child. You will have that. But the difference between then and now is it wasn't as toxic. And the motives have changed as well since then and now. Because back in the day, you would have him, taking on that role, and they would be married for forever. Like they would be they would be together for the long haul, you know. But now what you have now is you have, for example, I'm gonna use Velvet as an example. You have Velvet who is you know, letting this guy take the initiative right now. And as soon as another guy comes along with a bigger bag, she'll be riding that cock carousel, and that's just it. She's just waiting for something better as of right now. She's just waiting for someone with a bigger bag as of right now. That's just what it comes down to. That's what she's waiting for. But in the meantime, this guy is doing it because he's just a simp and a beta male. I mean, even during the lives when she's talking, he's just like docile. He's just like quiet. He doesn't like just say, "Yo, have you ever thought about taking a shut the f up pill?" Like he doesn't even establish himself as a man in the relationship. And so that's just goes to show you what the modern female is about, what I should say what the modern Western female is about, you know. And I'm not saying all Western women are like that. I'm not saying all, but the ones who aren't like that, the thing is they're not gonna come out and say they're not like that. Because chances are like they're showing they're not like that by keeping to themselves, by staying inside, by occupying themselves with something else that maybe a lot of us would consider boring, but they're not going to be the ones out there like that. So this is just going to show you what type of time most of the Western women are on. Unfortunately, they're on the time of these women at these cults. You know, it's just that it's a bit different on how they're doing it. These women at the cults, they're just doing it in a way where it's for all to see, and the way that people are seeing it, they're just seeing it as women that are allowing themselves to get walked over. However, these women want to be walked over. That's the whole thing. They want these sorry Negroes to be doing what they're doing, you know, because of the simple fact that a good guy who's like upright and a solid individual is not what they want. They want this, you know. That's just it. Because they've had many opportunities to leave and things like that, but the crazy thing is instead of leaving, they just stay, or they just try to do things to stay, you know. So it just goes to show you that they're damaged goods, you know. And that just is a reflection of the Western woman as a whole, who bought into feminism, who bought into liberalism, and brought into all these things. And it is what it is. But as I said, you know, with me, and I'm not trying to be arrogant or disrespectful, I have options, bro. Like, I'm not gonna even lie. And I'm not the only one with options. Men who have managed to stay out of this mess and who have managed to like make the right life choices and even like just bounce back from wrong life choices, they have options, bro. Like, it was funny. I'm gonna tell you a story real quick. I found this hilarious. But you know, one of the women who basically it goes so hard for Velvet, she DM'd me. I'm not about to like expose her, but uh she did DM me, and she was like, yeah, that's why you're gonna grow old alone. That's why you're not gonna even have anybody. That's why you're not gonna even this, that, and the other. And you know, I just smiled because the thing is, like 5 minutes later, I get a phone call from a old neighbor of mine where I used to stay, and she's like, you know, I've always known you, and I've always thought you were just a chill, laid back dude. And she's like, you know, I think you would be good for my niece. And and then she proceeded to say, do you want to meet her? And I said, yeah, you know, we can meet, we can talk, we can chill, or whatever the case may be. And I was like, yeah, why not? You know? And guess what? She's Eritrean. So again, I say this to say I have options, bro. Like, in the way I look at it is I'm always gonna have options. Because listen, man, if you're not involved in these stupid things that these Western women are putting you through, be it inside that cult world or being outside of the cult world, then you're gonna be good, bro. You're gonna have options. Okay. And I'm mostly talking to black men. And I'm not just talking to I'm talking to black men everywhere, from everywhere. You're not gonna have to, in essence, if you value yourself, you're not gonna have to do what these sorry Negroes are doing in these cults to get women. You're not going to have to do that. You're not going to have to go down that road. You're not going to have to use big words and things like that. And so, you know, I'm one of those guys that don't have to do that, bro. You know, and I'm not about to sit here and brag about getting women or anything like that. I'm not about to do that. You know, it quiet as this cap, I'm a very private person. You know, I don't like to put all my business out there. But that's just a word. You know, I just had to get these things off my chest though, because you know, another thing too that I wanted to address is that people will call you ugly or whatever the case may be. People will talk about your nose. People will talk about the size of your lips. People will talk about all these things. But guess what? Like, the dollar bills that you put in your account are not talking about those things, bruh. The dollar bills that you put in your bank account are just being put in your bank account and not saying anything. You know, you calling someone ugly and or something, or talking about someone's facial features is, it's just dead air. You know, nothing is going to become of that. But you know you when a dollar bill looks at you or something like that, it's not calling you ugly. It's just putting itself in your bank account, not saying a word. You know, and something's going to come of that because, you know, after like a couple of $1,000 bills, hundreds of $1,000 bills, a tangible asset can be bought, which will lead to more dollar bills. So, you know, my like closing statements is, and this is to people who are like following the whole cult thing and everything like that, is don't feel sympathy for these women. They knew what they were getting into and they want to be into this. Unfortunately, they like this happening to them. They like what's going on because I think a couple of them have left good stand up dudes. So this is what they wanted in the first place, man. So don't feel bad for them. You know, this is what they signed up for. But anyhow, man, just leave your thoughts and leave your comments. Foolish signing out. Njala.